Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with Roger Johnson and Catherine Down.
Hello, good morning. Our headlines today. The Gypsy King defends his crown. Tyson Fury defeats Deontay Wilder in Las Vegas in the last half hour with an 11th round knockout.
Yes, after all the build-up, the WBC belt stays with Fury. He put the American Wilder down 3 times in their 3rd meeting in Las Vegas. No instant price hikes or problems with supply. The government defends its handling of the energy crisis despite criticism from suppliers.
We'll meet the vicar swapping sermons for scissors to help his community.
Good morning. Much more sunshine on offer today for Scotland and Northern Ireland. We'll start the day with a little bit more cloud further south, but overall I think a pretty good looking autumn day to come and a lot of fine weather through the week ahead. More details for you as ever coming up.
It's Sunday the 10th of October. Within the last half hour, Tyson Fury has knocked out Deontay Wilder to retain his title as the WBC heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah, Fury took Wilder down in the 11th round in Las Vegas. And Jane joins us now with details. It's literally just finished, hasn't it? They're still in the ring, still completing their post-fight press conferences, though Deontay Wilder has made a swift exit, I've noted. Because Tyson Fury, I mean, he was down in round 4, but how Wilder stayed on his feet for the rest of that fight. Incredible stuff.
It was so hotly anticipated, this fight, wasn't it? Because it was their 3rd meeting. But boy, did it deliver. Both of these heavyweight titans entered the ring. Tyson Fury walked out dressed like a gladiator, which was quite apt to face the American challenger Wilder for this WBC belt. And very quickly, in the 3rd round, Fury put Wilder down with a huge right hand. But, as you said, Wilder came roaring back because the very next round, in the 4th, he put Fury down twice. So it could have been anyone's. They had already met twice previously. The first time ended in a draw. The 2nd match ended in Fury winning. But then there'd been a lot of trash talk in the lead up to this fight. There had been a lot of accusations flying back and forth. And in the 7th, it looked as though everything was getting to Deontay Wilder because he was flagging. Fury had him on the ropes. He looked spent and exhausted. He managed to struggle on for a couple more, but then in the 10th, he went down again. The ref checked Wilder. It looked like he might be looking to stop the fight or call in the doctor. But still in the 10th round, Wilder came back at Fury and had him on the ropes again. It was just, nobody could have anticipated what was going to happen. But then in the 11th, well, it just proved that Tyson Fury is the far superior fighter. He put Deontay Wilder down in the 11th, and that was it. He was not getting back up again. Fury retains the WBC belt, 2 wins from 3 against Wilder, and Fury is still undefeated as well.
Listening to the commentary, they said, you know, people had criticised Deontay Wilder as not being a great boxer, but wow, what a heart. I mean, he was phenomenal. But Tyson Fury, I mean, had it gone to points, it was all one way, wasn't it? And many people reacting, including Fury himself.
Well, the thing is, Wilder is so fast, his hands are so fast, and he's so powerful as well that you cannot predict what might happen. But yes, Tyson Fury, well, straight after the fight, he started singing, which he has done again previously in the past.
It was walking in Memphis, wasn't it, this time?
But walking in Vegas. Yeah. He changed the word, yes. He's also tweeted, I'm not sure if it's actually him who's tweeted because he's still got his gloves on, so it could have been one of his team that's tweeted for him. And he said after his win, "Thank you to my Lord and Saviour, Jesus Christ." But this has been such an exciting fight. So many people watching as well. That a few celebrities have been tweeting too. Premier League legend Alan Shearer tweeted saying, "Wow, what a fight that was, Tyson Fury." And also the former professional boxer Nicola Adams, who won gold at London 2012, she tweeted saying, "It's over, Tyson Fury wins by knockout. What a fight, congratulations." And really, the question that everyone's asking now is, who's next? Because we had wanted to see Tyson Fury fight Anthony Joshua. That may now not happen because, of course, Joshua lost to Alexander Usyk. That was his unanimous victory. So that means that we might not see that. And instead, it could be another Brit that Tyson Fury faces, Dillian Whyte. So we'll wait and see, won't we? But Tyson Fury, the WBC champion, he's retained.
Hasn't AJ confirmed the rematch against
against Usyk. Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah,
and
as
then
well.
maybe it'll happen. Jane, thank you very much indeed. We'll be talking about that fight, of course, all morning long. It has just finished. And the beef is still continuing between the two of them. Deontay Wilder wouldn't speak to Tyson Fury afterwards. Yeah.
Maybe he couldn't speak.
That's probably more the case.
Right, we'll as Kat said, we'll talk more about that during the course of the programme, but let's move away from boxing for now. The Business Secretary, Kwasi Kwarteng, has defended the government's handling of the energy crisis after several suppliers described the price cap system for regulating household bills as not fit for purpose.
Writing in the Sunday Express, Mr Kwarteng said that despite pressure to lift the cap, it was here to stay despite spiralling costs. Megan Patterson reports.
The cost of switching on is mounting up. The Business Secretary, Kwasi Kwarteng, says the government's priority is protecting customers and describes the price cap as a non-negotiable safety net, shielding people from worrying price increases over Christmas. It comes after suppliers criticised the price cap system as being not fit for purpose. Energy experts say while it does provide reassurances for customers worried about paying their household bills, the protection won't last forever.
The price cap actually won't move until the beginning of April, so that period I think is helpful. It gives people peace of mind, and we need to lock that in. I think then it does create uncertainty going into April. All of the forecasts suggest there's going to be quite significant increase to the price cap at that time, so we need to be very mindful of that, and people need to budget accordingly.
For businesses, though, there's no price cap, and Mr Kwarteng gives no indication of how government might seek to ease pressure for those unable to scale back their usage. Some already warning higher energy bills will mean increases in the price customers pay for goods. Talks with energy-intensive industries are expected to continue this week after calls for urgent government intervention. This comes as strain on supply chains continues to grow. The government's confirmed intensive training courses for HGV drivers will be opened to a further 2,000 people, although those taking part won't qualify until after Christmas. Labour said it was a drop in the ocean compared to what was required. Megan Patterson, BBC News.
The French authorities are calling on the British government to honour its promise to pay them more than £50 million to help them try to stop migrants crossing the Channel by boat.
Yeah, hundreds of people have made the journey in the past couple of days alone, leading to further tensions between France and the UK, as Simon Jones reports.
Bonjour. On a visit to Calais, the French Interior Minister meets the officers on the front line in the battle to stop migrants crossing the Channel. Some of their work is funded by the British taxpayer. In July, the Home Secretary, Priti Patel, promised an extra £54 million to double the number of patrols on the beaches in northern France and to pay for increased surveillance. But Monsieur Darmanin says that cash has yet to come.
The British government has not yet paid us what they promised us. At the moment, not a single euro has been handed over by the British, following the deal that I negotiated several months ago with Priti Patel. The English are an honourable nation, and I'm sure it's just a small delay, and they will keep their promise.
Priti Patel recently threatened to withhold the money if the French authorities didn't prevent more crossings. France says it's now stopping 65% of those who attempt to set off. But hundreds of migrants have reached the UK on small boats in the past 2 days, including children and a baby. That brings the total for this year to around 18,000 people. The number arriving by lorry, though, is comparatively small, around 850 people detected between January and August. And overall, asylum claims fell by 4% in the past year. Both Britain and France agree that the dangerous journeys must be stopped, but there's no consensus on the best way to achieve this. The Home Office has said it's doing everything it can to support the French response and to target the criminals organising the crossings. Simon Jones, BBC News.
La Palma Airport in the Spanish Canary Islands has reopened after an erupting volcano forced it to close for 2 days. A thick ash cloud had forced the airport shut down. It's been almost 3 weeks since La Cumbre Vieja began erupting. Around 6,000 people have left their homes as lava continues to flow and destroy buildings.
The variety of plant and animal life in the UK is so depleted it could cause an ecological meltdown.
The scientists at the Natural History Museum say that the UK has only 53% of its biodiversity left, and that's well below the global average of 75%. Helen Briggs has got this report.
The air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, all rely on biodiversity, the variety of all plant and animal life on Earth. But biodiversity is dwindling fast because of us, with an estimated 1 million species at risk of extinction. The UK's no exception. It has just 53% of its biodiversity left, well below the global average of 75%, according to a new study from the Natural History Museum. Researchers say there's little room for nature in a country where so much of the land has long been built upon or used for intensive agriculture. And they warn the world's lost so much natural biodiversity, we risk an ecological meltdown, a future in which we can't rely on nature to provide the energy, food and timber we need.
Biodiversity is more than something that's beautiful to look at and that we love. It's also what provides us with so many of our basic needs. It's the foundation of our society. We've seen recently how disruptive it can be when supply chains break down. Nature is at the base of our supply chains.
The team from the Natural History Museum hope their data will help global leaders meeting for the UN Biodiversity Conference next week. During a week of virtual talks hosted by China, negotiators will thrash out plans for protecting nature over the next 10 years. None of the targets for the previous decade were met, and scientists say this is our last best chance for a sustainable future. Helen Briggs, BBC News.
See the headlines as they happen and watch BBC News live in the app and get the full story with bbc.co.uk/news. Follow the story for all the latest with BBC News.